Welcome to today's video on the limitations of traditional table formats in big data systems. We're going to explore why formats like Hive tables and simple collections of Parquet files struggle as data volumes grow and requirements become more complex. Understanding these limitations will help you appreciate why modern table formats like Iceberg, Delta Lake, and Hudi were developed. Let's start by looking at the history of these traditional approaches. When Hadoop and data lakes first emerged, the Hive metastore became the standard way to organize table metadata. Hive tables use a simple model where a table is essentially a directory in a file system with optional partitioning subdirectories and data files within those directories. Parquet quickly became a popular file format for these systems due to its columnar structure and compression capabilities. But while Parquet optimizes how data is stored within files, the overall table organization remained quite primitive. The first major limitation we'll discuss is schema evolution. Imagine you have a 50 terabyte customer analytics table and your marketing team asks you to add a new column for loyalty program status. In a traditional Hive table, this seemingly simple operation becomes a nightmare. You essentially have two unpleasant options. Either rewrite the entire 50 terabytes of data, which could take days and cost thousands of dollars in cloud environments, or create a completely new table version and modify your applications to handle multiple schema versions. Let me explain why this happens. In traditional formats, schema information is often embedded directly in the files themselves, without a centralized way to track schema versions or map between them. When readers access data, they expect all files to conform to the same schema. There's no mechanism to say this file uses schema version 1 while this other file uses schema version 2. The result is that schema changes become incredibly disruptive operations that data teams try to avoid at all costs, limiting the adaptability of data systems to changing business requirements. Even worse, operations like renaming columns or changing column types are often completely unsupported. I've seen teams resort to creating entirely new tables and copying all their data just to rename a single column from customer ID to user ID, an operation that should take seconds, not days. The second critical limitation is the lack of ACID transaction support. ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability, properties that have been standard in relational databases for decades but are notably absent in traditional data lake table formats. What does this mean in practice? Let's consider a common scenario. You're running a process that needs to update records across multiple files in a table. In a traditional format, if this process fails halfway through, readers will see a partially updated table. Some files will contain the new data, while others still have the old data. This partial visibility violates atomicity and leads to inconsistent analytical results that can have serious business implications. Similarly, if two processes attempt to write to the same table simultaneously, you'll likely end up with a corrupted table state or lost updates. There's no built-in mechanism for detecting conflicts or ensuring isolation between readers and writers. I've witnessed data teams implementing elaborate table locking systems with external coordination services just to prevent these issues, essentially rebuilding database functionality that should be provided by the table format itself. The third major limitation involves partitioning strategies. Traditional table formats like Hive use directory-based partitioning, where partition columns become part of the physical directory structure. For example, a table partitioned by year and month. This approach creates a tight coupling between your physical storage decisions and your query patterns. If you initially partition by date but later realize that you also need to partition by customer region for performance, you're facing a complete table rebuild. There's no way to evolve your partitioning strategy over time as query patterns change. As tables grow, traditional formats also suffer from severe performance degradation. One key reason is the lack of metadata for efficient file pruning. When you run a query with a filter like where clause, the system has no way to know which files might contain matching records without opening and reading each file. This leads to excessive I/O and dramatically slower queries as table size increases. The problem is compounded by the metadata bottleneck. In Hive tables, listing the files in a table requires directory listing operations against the file system. As tables grow to millions of files, these operations become painfully slow. I've seen simple metadata operations take minutes or even hours on large tables, making interactive analysis impossible. Another performance killer is the small files problem. When data is ingested incrementally in many small batches, you end up with thousands or millions of tiny files. This is especially common with fine-grained partitioning. Each file has overhead for opening, reading headers, and processing, so having many small files instead of fewer larger ones dramatically reduces read performance. Traditional formats offer no built-in solution for this problem, forcing teams to implement custom compaction processes that often require table downtime. Data reliability is another critical area where traditional formats fall short. Because metadata, which is in the meta store, and actual data files, which are in the file system, are managed separately. Without transactional guarantees between them, it's possible to end up in states where metadata points to non-existent files or fails to track new files. This metadata corruption can make tables appear empty or return incomplete results. File systems like HDFS or cloud object stores provide no protection against partial writes, so a process that crashes while writing a file might leave behind a corrupted file that causes queries to fail. Without atomic table state transitions, it's also impossible to guarantee consistent backups, making disaster recovery scenarios particularly challenging. The lack of temporal data management is yet another limitation. Modern data workflows often need to access historical versions of data for audit purposes, reproducible analytics, or to recover from errors. Traditional table formats provide no built-in versioning capabilities, making it impossible to run time travel queries to see data as it existed at a specific point in time. If your compliance team asks for a report showing customer data exactly as it appeared 6 months ago, your only option with traditional formats is to have maintained a separate copy of that data, essentially implementing manual versioning by duplicating entire datasets, which is prohibitively expensive at scale. Incremental processing, identifying and processing only records that have changed since a previous run, is also extremely difficult without proper change tracking. Teams resort to custom solutions like timestamp columns or separately maintained change logs, adding complexity and potential points of failure. Finally, all these limitations create significant operational overhead. Data engineering teams end up developing and maintaining a complex ecosystem of tools and processes to work around the fundamental limitations of the table format. Custom scripts for compaction, statistics collection, orphaned file cleanup, and monitoring table health become critical infrastructure components that require constant maintenance. As organizations scale to hundreds or thousands of tables across multiple petabytes of data, this operational complexity becomes unmanageable. I've seen teams where more than half of data engineering resources were dedicated to just keeping the data lake operational, rather than delivering new value to the business. To summarize, traditional table formats like Hive tables or simple collections of Parquet files have significant limitations in several key areas. Schema evolution, transaction support, partitioning flexibility, performance at scale, data reliability, temporal data management, and operational overhead. These limitations become increasingly problematic as data volumes grow and business requirements become more demanding. Understanding these shortcomings helps explain why newer table formats like Apache Iceberg, Delta Lake, and Hudi were developed. These modern formats directly address the limitations we've discussed, bringing database-like capabilities to data lakes without sacrificing the scalability and flexibility that make data lakes attractive in the first place. That's all we have in this video. I hope you have learned something new today. Let's see in the next video.